Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC. We just had a pretty one-sided victory coming out from London Esports versus DegreeEsports, and they've now switched sides. We have London on the blue side, and we have Degree on the red. Orcs, talk to me about that last game, because that was pretty decisive.
So, there were some mistakes in the early game from London for sure. It was quite back and forth initially, and it felt like it was going to be a close game. I think initially the composition of DegreeEsports, which is hard to execute. Yasuo in a solo lane can be tricky, especially top lane compared to mid. And then on top of that, the fiddlesticks, I was eager to see, but it didn't really pan out, especially into the Olaf. If it gets a lead, great. If it doesn't, it will really struggle because he just ignores your fear and runs you down. And then it just felt like when it got to those team fights, the execution wasn't quite there for DegreeEsports. There was some key mistakes. There was a situation where Chentang ulted the Diana into his team, so there was a big AoE from the ultimate that just ripped through them. And it felt like, although there was that mistake with the dive mid, mostly it was just London taking control from there and kind of showing that they know this is serious now. They need to win this series and showing what we expected from them initially.
So going into this, now that the sides are swapped, what are we looking at? Are we thinking there's going to be some things that need to get banned away, like Chimera's Diana? Or do you feel like that wasn't really the problem? It was more an execution issue? What do you think needs to get shifted going into this picks and bans?
I think just give yourself an easier to execute composition. I think if you're trying to do fancy things like the fiddlesticks and the Yasuo, there's a chance it can backfire quite heavily. I think what was working well was when you have a composition that essentially plays quite simply, when you have priority in the right lanes, as they had up against August randoms, when you have a strong jungler who can impact the map, because I think that's a critical thing. Is I praise Godunica, and then he plays Fiddle, and he can't really do nearly as much in the early levels. So give him something that has tools to sort of enable his team, and I think we could be in a much easier game for them to contest.
Well, so far we've seen the Set and the Graves get banned away. We'll see what else is most likely going to be banned, but we'll probably see the Fresh and the Varus. We've seen them pretty much every game today banned away. I feel like that Yasuo isn't ban worthy, even though Evan I'm sure he's a good player at it, but it felt like Bear Tree has something prepared for it. But so far, pretty standard bans here. The Trundle gets taken away as well.
It may be better on red side, but you can ban it in the second rotation because you can potentially take it and then have it as a counter pick. But again, that's usually a second rotation thing, so you can ban it there. For now, I think it's just focusing on those power picks. Thresh and Syndra are still open and available if they want to be banned away. Looks like they're going to target the Ornn again, though, for the side of London. So Thresh, Syndra are the big ones that I'm seeing still up and available. It looks like they're not going to go for either. They're just going to go for the MF. So potentially going to be in a situation where they could trade these off. Or we could see London just go in a different direction completely. But with Syndra being open and available, that seems like the likely one to contest.
Alrighty, well, that's going to be the Syndra picked up there. Flexible pick. You can go bot lane. You can also put it in the mid lane. So pretty standard pick up there. Instant lock-in on that Yasuo once again. Evan wants to get that, but this time they get the combo with the Gragas, so deny that.
Yeah, I like this a lot more. I like the fact that you have the Gragas Yasuo as a combo, not just the Yasuo. It means you can play around the lane that it's in. It also means you have strong combos in team fights when you have a Syndra on the enemy team and a mobile champion who is going to be easy to target with that ultimate. And also the Yasuo obviously has the wind wall to block a lot of damage. However, we will just see the Olaf come out again for Warden. Had a great game one with it. And it can just ignore the CC available to the enemy team.
Alrighty, now what is the next pick up here? Do they want to get themselves something that can go up versus that Yasuo in the top lane?
I think AD might be a priority here because, I guess they may want to keep the flex of a Syndra, but if you are going to pick an AD, it may be something you need to take now. But it kind of just depends whether they're more concerned about Bear Tree having a good matchup. It looks like then they're happy to reveal the Syndra flex and reveal that it's going mid. And they want to prioritize the Azure, something that has a bit more safety up against the Yasuo Gragas. So I think that's fair enough. It's a high tier 80 carry, especially when Varus is taken off the table. And the question is going to be what will be answered on the other side.
I really felt like if the Fresh was open, they could have hit that and then kept the Syndra as a potential flex.
In theory, yeah, but actually seen a Ziggs come out. So this could be a flex between mid and bot. We have seen Chentang play it before, I believe. And we know that Evan can be the one playing Yasuo. So still leaves a lot of flexibility open between these picks. And as well, we assume it's a Gragas in the jungle. It could be a Gragas top in theory. So there's a lot of flexibility between these 3 picks. Whereas on the other side, we know where every pick for London's going. And that gives a bit more freedom in this ban phase as to where you're sort of directing bans, because you can see DegreeEsports just manipulate things around to avoid what you're banning against. For now, though, they'll take the Yuumi away from the Ezreal. And as to the Thresh thing, I think he is good, but I think you need the right setup for him. And you may, if you do take the Thresh, then you obviously reveal that you can't go Ezreal Yuumi later on.
Alrighty, well, Camille banned away. One last ban here for the side of DegreeEsports. What do they want to take away? Still not sure what is going in the top and what is going to be the support in this game. Last ban will be the Gangplank from Bear Tree. Pretty standard. Offers some scaling options and doesn't do awful into the Yasuo.
No, not seen it as much recently, but is still a pretty strong pick. And obviously ult, a great tool in the later stages of the game.
Have they done the sheen changes to him yet with the barrels? Or is that just the thing they were planning and haven't done?
I don't know what you're talking about, so...
There's something about the way Sheen interacts with the barrels. I think they were changing on Gangplank, but I'm not 100% sure if it's gone through yet.
Please don't tell me this isn't one of those things that you read about like 3 years ago and you're bringing it up now.
No. I saw it on Twitter recently, and I can't remember who put it up.
Okay.
I don't know if it was like just like a planned thing they were thinking about doing on the way Sheen works with the barrels and stuff, but I don't know.
Okay, now I like the Thresh coming out. Strong support left open. Good into most matchups. You can punish sort of range supports and also go toe-to-toe with melee supports to keep them at a distance. Question is going to be, what do London take into that? Because you want something that pairs well with the Ezreal. There's a variety of things that obviously go well. You can obviously offer some poke, but you have to respect the engage from Thresh. This crown could be interesting because that's seen as like a direct counter to the Thresh. And they're going to take that. So you saw them hovering like the Leona. Leona struggles to engage on the Thresh because of the Flay. But Blitzcrank, when Thresh goes for a hook, he's rooted in place. So you can very easily land a grab onto him. The last thing we're just going to see is what Bear Tree goes for in the top lane. They have a lot of tools that sort of impact the early game. Later on in the match, it's going to become a bit more difficult for London. And it looks like they're just going to go for some frontline and take that Sion we saw Bear Tree play earlier today in the first game.
Yeah, Bear Tree had a really, really good game on that. Also got to keep in mind, Raisins has been really on it today in the support role. He's been playing so well. So this Blitzcrank, you can use it to hard style on people. I mean, Blitzcrank kind of only does one thing, and that is grab people. But those grabs, the later the game goes, can be game-changing, can be game-deciding. What is going to be the last pick up here? It's going to be the Wukong. So that means we're looking at a Gragas Yasuo... No, wait, what? Gragas... Yasuo fresh bot lane. I'm having a complete brain fart. Yasuo mid. Yasuo mid. Nothing flashy. Nothing flashy.
Yeah, so I thought potentially we could have seen Chentang bring out his Echo into the Syndra if they wanted to, but instead they're going to go for the Gragas Yasuo mid jungle. I think it's a better place to put the Yasuo than top lane, especially in the shuttle lane. They'll put Wukong top up against the Sion, especially when you go Blade the Rune King first. You can actually have a lot of success in that lane. It's also very hard for Sion to hit a full charge decimating smash because you have your clone and your mobility. And then in the team fights, they have so much threat onto the backline. Without a doubt, the scaling is in favor of DegreeEsports, but they still have given themselves tools to use in the early game. It's a pretty well-rounded composition. My concern is we've seen Chimera and Warden really pop off. We now have them on Syndra Olaf. Momentum going in favor of London could cause a big issue for the side of DegreeEsports.
All right, well, the comps are locked in. The teams are getting ready to take to the Rift. We've got a quick pause just before we get in, unfortunately, because we're playing on live client. But I'm really liking DegreeEsports' comp here. They've got a lot to work with around that Yasuo. They also have Ziggs. They've got the Ziggs as well, which can also help you in the sieging situations as well as the team fighting. Because Syndra, if you throw that bomb straight on top of Syndra, without her flashing, she's going to be zoned out of the fight pretty hard. There's a lot of tools to work with. Obviously, the Ezreal can shift out of it. He's the only one that, like, with hard movement to be able to dodge a lot of the Zigg stuff. So it could get kind of rough for Chimera. But we have seen Chimera really pop off in this pick. When I think of Chimera, I think of LeBlanc, I think of Syndra. These are the two champions I really always commit to him. Maybe a little bit of Anivia from the UKLC Miracle run almost a year ago now.
Oh, when you think about it, yeah, that's been a long time.
That feeling run was a very, very long time ago. Well, it was only a year ago, but it feels longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of power picks here. We saw Bear Tree just pop off on the Scion earlier today as well. So I'm actually curious, how does this work versus the Wukong? Because Wukong's changed quite a lot. Now we're seeing people go for like the kind of Blade the Ruined King and less of the bursty lethality build on Wukong because it doesn't really suit him as much.
The thing
How's
with
this go?
The thing with Blade of the Ruined King is garbage until you finish it. The components are really bad, especially for bruisers. You get like attack speed and on hit on the recurve bow, and you get like a bit of lifesteal on the cutlass and an active. It's really not great, but as soon as you finish that Blade of the Ruined King, the spike is just absurd. You're suddenly just doing so much percentage HP to a Scion who already stacks a ton of HP because his passive naturally stacks it. So I think in the early levels, Scion should be able to trade comfortably with the Wukong. Evan just has to get through that. And then once he gets the Blade of the Ruined King, that's when he can really start to challenge the Scion. And then later on, when he picks up things like the Black Cleaver, potentially, that's where it really becomes a little bit difficult. But eventually, Scion just becomes too tanky for you to bother. So you'll just go into team fights and make a mess there. Ultimately, for this game, I think the talking point is that for London, they have a really good early pressure team composition. They obviously have a lot of things they can do with the Olaf and the Syndra. The Ezreal as well, if he gets momentum, is good. But I think when we looked at that last game, they did have a messy early game, and I think if that happens again, they can't just say, okay, we're going to team fight our way out of this. If you fall behind with the Blitzcrank, it really just loses a lot of value, especially into this team where there's a lot of targets, so you're not going to get much value from hooking. If you hook the Wukong in, you are inting. And it's like the Ziggs is going to be at such a long range, you won't be able to do anything. So really, London have drafted a composition where they have to come out strong in the early game. If they don't, things are going to get difficult, and I think that is my concern for them.
And on the other side, you know, mid into late is actually quite nice for them. The Ziggs continues to stack power, continues to get more and more strong in these sieges. We all know what Yasuo gets in towards the late game, especially when you combine that with the Wukong with the Gragas. You have a lot of setup for this Yasuo and a fresh Lantern to bail people out of danger. So it's actually a really nice comp here for Degree. We'll have to see how they play it because their last team comp was also pretty good on paper, but the execution versus London was maybe a little lackluster. So that's what we've got to keep an eye on.
I'll disagree with that. I don't think that comp last game was as good. There was a lot of things I didn't agree with, and I think having the Yasuo and the Gragas mid jungle a lot better than just having Yasuo mid with Yasuo top with Fiddle jungle. I think the Wukong, I think there's plenty other things I could have seen coming out here, but I think the Wukong just fine to the Scion, and it also adds to that team fight prowess. I think something I said was ease of execution.
Yes.
You lose this game, you're out. So you want to pick a composition that's fairly easy to play. You're not going to play something that's really intricate, that takes like precise timings and stuff like that. This team composition is just, okay, can we team fight? Yes. Okay, let's team fight. That is essentially how it works. And yes, the early game is going to be a little bit finicky up against the team composition, but if they can get through that, if they can apply pressure around the solo lanes, they could be in a really good position to take every team fight from there on out. They have the better side laners as well, so I feel confident on that behalf for them. Whereas for me, there's a lot more pressure on London to make their comp work, I think is the thing. And when I throw around the term ease of execution, it's just like, there are compositions which are just flat out more difficult to make function. You often hear at lower levels, split push compositions are hard to execute. And I think team fight tends to be a composition with a strong team fight with a lot of engage, tends to be one of the easier to do ones, especially when they have a ton of wave clear. If things start to get rough, they just stick Ziggs in the mid lane, keep throwing bombs, and then there's not really much they can do to pressure the side lane other than rotate. But even if you do that, they have 2 TPs on their side. They have a global ultimate in the Mega Inferno Bomb. I'm feeling confident, honestly, in DegreeEsports draft this time. I think they did a much better job.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Have had, unfortunately, another quick break. Pause, sorry. But hopefully it won't be too long this time. Not like the last game where we had a good 15 minutes of fill time.
Yes.
But...
Oh, what's your new topic? Did you think about any in the break?
Oh, God, no. I went to grab another drink and then...
Here's one for you.
Got him.
What is your favorite League emote?
League emote?
Yeah.
Do you mean the cartoony ones that pop above your head, or the actual like a dance or something?
Not the dance. Dances are lame. The ones that pop above your head. So we're going to be in game soon, and you can see the game start ones.
I actually... I quite like the Akali mic drop. You know, the KDA Akali mic drop. I quite like that one.
Okay.
Dabbing penguin's always so standard. I also like the tip the hat penguin's quite good as well.
True. I like the dabbing penguin. I like the noise it makes as well when you do it. It's like that little noise. That's the greatest disrespect one. Honestly, to be honest, I think as on a lot of my Smurf accounts, I tend to just do the thumbs up. I think that's the easy go-to one.
Oh, it's honestly one of the most BM ones as well.
Yeah.
Like someone makes a mistake and you just thumbs up. Good job, dude.
Yep. I always like it. It's just like because normally when I'm playing solo queue, I just turn off chat and then I'm just like someone does something good, I'm like thumbs up.
Someone does something bad. Thumbs
See,
up.
look, the observer's trying to show us that cute little reindeer award. Definitely not highlighting the fact that they're on a award.
What's your favorite award?
It's a tough one actually, but I want to wait and see this level 1 fight. Let's build attention. Ooh. Oh, Thresh just moved over as well.
Ooh, they're out. They got spooked.
They bottled it.
You gave it away, Orcs.
Yeah. Oh, they were listening. Sorry, DegreeEsports. And now Thresh has to make the walk of shame back.
All the way down. Actually, will be a little late to lane now because of that.
Yeah, he might miss some of the first wave.
Pulling the wave out, actually. I like that.
Big brain. They should have done that bot lane. That's what they should have done bot lane. And they could have denied a minion for sure. So, missed a trick there. Battery's the big brain one.
Oh, they do still miss the minion. Yeah.
Yeah, and melee minions are worth a lot more. Oh.
If he finds that hook. Oh, raisins.
That's it. The game is over. He's
hey, mate,
lost.
you miss every hook you don't take.
He is mentally lost already. If he'd landed that, it wouldn't have killed him, but he just would have won the mental battle. By the way, Thresh is going to be a little bit behind in XP here, so they can guarantee the level 2 advantage, which is why you can see Benuxus and Longstaff back away. And this is the cost of that roam up towards the top side. Ziggs typically can force a shove quite well, but in honesty, it's not the greatest. I know a lot of people are going to be like, wait, but Graves is great at shoving lanes. Not so much at level 1, because his auto attack damage isn't super significant, and his bomb is on a long cooldown still. Especially when Ezreal can stack up his passive and get a lot of attack speed. He is pretty good at shoving waves out. So it's not too awful that he shoved in, but it is a little bit unfortunate that he's having to farm with his Q as well. Never super optimal when you're just using all your mana on that. And this is where it gets tricky because he's going to have to pick up all this farm on the tower. Misses one already, and it gives an opportunity for Golden God and Raisins to roam and find Gardunica in the jungle.
And that's exactly what they've done. So can Raisins steal this away? No, it was close.
Forces smite. And the critical thing, he forces a smite there. And it means that Gardunica, he knows he doesn't have priority bot. He knows he doesn't have smite. Very unlikely does he challenge the Scuttle Crab. So right now, Olaf can just walk in, take this, and then potentially take the Gromp as well if he wants to.
They're really going to shove him out now. Looks like the pings are going down, and actually you can see that Bear Tree's moving over to the Scuttle Crab to see if he can find Gardunica. So good read on that. Has this priority in his lane. Gardunica is actually potentially going to kill the crab before he even gets spotted on the ward, but I think he finally will be seen. I don't think it really matters though, because Warden's already invading. Yeah,
they do see him, so they're aware of his position. It's pretty obvious that was what's going to happen, but that information essentially means that Warden is free to take the Gromp in this scenario. Would potentially loop down towards mid, but you got to be a little bit careful if the Gragas does try and contest. But he's actually headed towards the Golem, so you don't have this info, but it feels like Warden may be looking. Chentang not in a good wave position right now.
Yeah, this is a really, really rough spot. Chimera playing pretty aggressive up. He's just trying to pop.
Oh, it's the cannon.
He's got the scat of the week down, and they've got the slows to follow. Chen has nowhere to go. Flashes away, but First Blood is picked up by Chimera.
The cannon was the ultimate bait.
Oh!
Close, but not close enough. Chentang went up for it, and you know what's the saddest thing about that passage of play? He didn't even get the cannon minion. He didn't do enough damage with his Q. A little bit unlucky. I think partially down to having a Doran's shield instead of a blade. And the end result is nice kill picked up by Chimera. That's what they need to do. We talked about how the early pressure needed to be in favor of London. This is a good start.
Very much so. So walking the wave into them here. Bot lane's been fairly uninteractive. Been more about lane control than anything. This is the first time the wave's starting to shove in here to the side of London.
Waves bounce. They can get a bit of momentum. I thought he was potentially going for the passive auto on the tower and then going to lantern into a recall. But they'll probably reset here anyway. Likely Ziggs will just pick up some components. Doran's Ring is a second Doran's is usually a nice pickup for a Ziggs, just for the extra mana regen in the early game. Helps with that priority. And he just have TP to return if needed. Actually, he has enough for a whole Lost Chapter, so yeah, why not? If you have 1300, Lost Chapter is often like the buy to go for. Less than 1300, you can just pick up Doran's Ring and some components just to get you through the laning phase. But if you have enough, why not?
Pretty big pickup for him there. Chentang now playing very, very safe. Did obviously just spot out on the ward as Chimera has got the ultimate, but the win would deny him there, and he didn't really poke Chentang out too much to be worth it.
Evan
It looks like the Ocean Drake is going to get started up here.
Yeah, Evan made a walk down here with ultimate, but with no ult from Chentang, wasn't really much prospect to happening. And we saw Benoxas go for that reset, and the end result is they lose priority. The wave is pushed into them. They're not going to be able to roam towards the dragon. Warden picks it up pretty easily. So nice start from London. Again, what they needed to happen. Just got to keep this up, keep the momentum going. Flash still not available from Chentang, so if they find an opportunity to punish, that'd be pretty great. But for now, he's happy just picking up farm under tower.
He's going to be able to catch that wave there for the moment. Everyone else looks to be resetting on the spot side of the map. Pickaxe and the tier has been finished up for Golden God right now on the Ezreal. He's going to lose out on a few minions, but already up in CS in the lane, so not particularly torn up about that. And it looks like there's a gank happening here in the top side. Predator's been popped.
Not even close. Battery read this pretty well.
Out.
Read it well, backed away in time, had the vision control with the control ward in the river, but he's actually walked back up, so Gadunika's going to try again.
Yeah, he's looking for it. Beartree does have flash and does have that ultimate. They catch him out for the moment. Still have that cask available. Beartree's trying to work it out. Has the flash, but gets caught out by the Cyclone as they chase him down. Second pop on the Cyclone. They're gonna go. He gets the kill.
Beautiful play-by-play there, Jake. Oh, Warden's looking here for Gadunika.
Yeah, Warden's actually got a lot of damage to work with here with the Ragnarok. He's going to chase him down. The teleport's coming in, and Beartree's looking for the backup. Has not got the ultimate available, but Warden may just go for the double kill in the bot lane, though. The knight's been used onto Longstaff. He's so low as Evan's being chased onto, knocked up and taken down. Raisins finds the kill in the bot lane. Warden gets a double kill, as now Ben's looking to chase onto Raisins for a little bit more. No level 6, no kill potential there.
Just wins across the board for the side of London. They do find Beartree. He's a bit overzealous staying up there. And despite a good ultimate to dodge away from the body slam, he doesn't bait out the cask well and actually buys a lot of time walking back and forth. But a 2v2 bot lane comes out ahead in favor of the Ezreal Blitz. And on top of that, Warden, feeling confident, goes in and they're able to pick up kills there too. So considering that started off with a kill going in favor of the side of DegreeEsports, they managed to turn it around pretty well, and Golden God playing with fire a little bit there.
Just a little bit. Considering he was flashless, Warden's going to get himself the Rift Herald, and now making his way up towards this top lane. Going to attempt to get some damage onto this turret, get some plates down in favor of Beartree. Like you said, with this Blade the Ruined King, these component items aren't that strong. And the more Beartree can buy before that Blade the Ruin comes in, the better.
Yeah,
He's building towards that Sunfire Cape.
The components are like only really okay for 80 carries. You can sort of make use of the attack speed from a distance and the lifesteal because you go for short trades, heal up. But really with the champion like Wukong, you want the full thing. You want, and as well, like the spike is even bigger for melee champions because you get 12% max HP. Often in the top lane as well, you're fighting against champions who have more HP than in the bot lane. Just for a multitude of reasons, the spike is huge, and Evan just needs to sort of survive till he gets to that point.
That's going to be a plate picked up as Ben's actually used the satchel there for a little bit of poke onto Raisins. Raisins took an additional tower shot there as well.
Yeah, man, I mean, has been picked up by Golden God, so he's stacking that one up. And actually just going for the rush towards the Ludens. Ludens is a huge spike for the Ziggs, because at that point, your bouncing bomb just decimates waves. And you can essentially just be left isolated mid lane or in any other lane and just clear the waves. Not under too much threat for them ever to crash the wave. But still working towards that. But prioritizing that pretty heavily for now. You see Warden feeling really strong on this 2-0-1 Olaf. He's got the warriors and some extra components. And he's posturing towards mid lane. Potentially you might see Godonica go for a gank here. They have the lantern for setup, but I think he's going to use the blast cone to flank round.
Gordon's overstayed. He's actually had to use the E already. Raisins needs to find a big old interrupt, but with Warden shepping around with the Blitzcrank about, it was just a little bit too much for them. They didn't want to risk it. They didn't want to fall down, especially with the second Drake spawning up soon.
Yeah, you can see a control ward in the jungle of DegreeEsports, and that spotted out Warden, which is why they didn't go for that play. But now Godonica's going to face check.
Godonica going to get run down. The Ragnarok's already there. Warden gets himself a killing spree. 3-0 on the Olaf.
There's so little timing. You can do. You can't ult away the Olaf when he's ulted. If you body slam into him, you know, you don't CC him, but you still lose the dash length. So there's really very little you can do. This is going to be tower mid as well. Huge win here for London. 4,000 gold up, and it looks like they're finding the momentum in this game that they needed. And
they get the second charge, chunking down the tier 2. Golden God's doing fine, holding his own in this lane. And now Ben has to be a little careful. People are roaming down. Evan goes in with a Cyclone onto Bear Tree, but has got the second proc available. And Bear Tree actually taking some serious damage here. Gets another knock off onto him. Uses the ultimate. Evan can just run away. Bear Tree, a little bit too overextending considering no one was about.
And that is good for Evan. If you get that kill, it's going to get you close to the Blade Ruin King. He's probably going to be able to finish it now. And you find the solo kill.
That was a sad timeline as well. Didn't get the dragon. Sorry, the cannon. Dragon does get picked up. That's the Infernal for them. So we are looking at a Cloud Soul for this game. Again, very nice for the Syndra. Can allow her to kind of maneuver a bit easier around these team fights, especially combine that with the Phase Rush. It's the Olaf who's going to really benefit off that. If London can get it, the hook just about misses.
Wukong as well, if you can get it. The thing with Cloud Soul is the flat movement speed is generally nice for a lot of champions, but it's harder to sort of see the difference. The movement speed on Ultimate is really situational. For some champions, it's really good. For some champions, it's really quite mediocre. There's a few here who benefit from it decently, but it's definitely not the most impactful ultimate. If this was an Ocean Soul, I'd feel much more confident for London. If this was potentially a Mountain Soul, I would still feel more confident because Mountain Soul really spikes hard in the earliest stages. So if you get it like 20 to 30 minutes, that extra shield makes a massive difference. Ocean Soul's just broken at any point in the game, so... For now, we see Blade Ruin King completed by Evan here. So this is where really, in this matchup, he should be starting to outright win it quite comfortably. But you still have to be a little bit cautious. The engage potential from Battery is there to set up the jungler if he shows up. So I'm not just going to dive straight in.
All right, well, 13 minutes on the clock. It's a 3,000 gold lead over to the side of London. It's not quite as decisive. It's not quite as high tempo as we saw in our first game, but we might have to keep that in the silence because Godonica has ignited. Chimera couldn't quite get in range to get the ultimate off. A good amount of CC came through to save Godonica's life. But that was risky.
Close, but not quite close enough there. Godonica survives, but still scary situation to be in when you're getting threatened so hard. Ziggs now has the Luden, so he can just clear out these waves, but he is trapped under the tower, and you can see because mid lane tower is down, Syndra can rotate over to assist.
Wouldn't have to pop the ultimate there. Canera comes in for the flank, gets the scatter the weak off. Longstaff goes golden, and this could just be him dead. Unleashed power as Warden's on a rampage. The Mega Inferno Bomb's big, but this is Warden running people down. He's going to flash the wall to make sure he doesn't get killed, though. They get the cast into the combo. Golden God may just get taken out in time there. Shentang with a clutch flash to dodge away on the force of will.
Nice turning around, but a lot of summoners being there for this side of DegreeEsports. They do manage to get that kill on the Ezreal, but the Olaf survives, and he's the one with the massive bounty. If they'd gotten that kill, it could have been pretty bad for the side of London.
Knock up by Bear Tree to make sure he's nice and safe. As now that Blade the Ruin King, you are seeing this really start to come to life, and Bear Tree getting harder and harder for him to deal with his Warden. Gonna get his hands on to the crab. Godonica will get sent packing.
The thing with Blade Ruin King is, like, you'll go on the post-death report and you'll just see that the item has done, like, more damage than anything else. Like, it'll say, you know, basic attacks, it'll say ultimate, it'll say the abilities, and then it'll say items, and it'll just be like 900 or something. It's ridiculous.
Oh, Raisins. Hasn't been landing too many hooks so far, unfortunately, for him. It's been a bit of a rougher game on the Blitzcrank.
Yeah, and it's one of those champions where you can make huge impact with it, or you can really feel a little bit lackluster. His Nautilus was really on point. Blitzcrank, not so much. And that's the thing. If you miss hooks with Nautilus, you can still have a fair amount of impact. You can't miss your ultimate. Your auto attacks do a pretty good job. Blitz is very much sort of weighted around the fact that his hook, his grab, is super powerful. You miss that, not too much value from the champion. I actually missed that ward in the brush there. There's one just in the river, so plenty of TP option if Evan wants to. He could get in behind Chimera.
They got the Predator on. Actually, looks like they're trying to see if they can find something onto Chimera, but might be a little hard. Too many members waiting around, and we're still remaining on that ward for the moment, but it looks like for now they're just going to have to give up this Rift Tail. This is the second one to get picked up by London.
They're not going to contest it. They're just going to leave this one. Unfortunately, not really in a spot right now where they want to fight still. He still doesn't have his first item. Olaf is still incredibly strong. The ideal situation here for DegreeEsports is they just stall the game out quite a bit longer. Dragon spawning in about 15 seconds, so that's the priority. Ideally, DegreeEsports can rush this one and take it. If not, they still have one more before the Soul, but putting them on Soul Point does make things a little bit tricky. Chimera's on the top side, but he does have TP. It looks like they should just be able to rush this one, so kind of weird. London kind of dropped off in terms of priority. Now, you can say that maybe because it's a Cloud Soul, they're not too bothered about it, but I still think they should have looked to take that Dragon and potentially put that threat of the Soul, and even more than the Cloud Soul is the Elder Dragon, because that has just delayed the Elder Dragon by a minimum of 5 minutes by them getting that Dragon.
Chimera will at least get a turret in response to that. They've still got that Rift Herald onto Warden. So Cloud Soul for Tower might be a trade they were willing to take as they want to continue kind of growing and scaling here for the side of London.
Buying themselves time. And like I said, the Ziggs is in the mid lane. This bot tower is a little bit hard to defend because they can rotate over and collapse on it and kill it. I think he'll go down pretty soon if London really want it. They haven't actually put much priority over there, but very easily they could just take this one. But the problem is it's these tier 2 towers. Syndra in a side lane against the Yasuo isn't really able to do much alone. The Scion is losing against the Wukong right now, although he has got Bramble Vest, which is a good pickup. And mid lane, like I said, the Ziggs just blitzes through lanes. Blitzes through waves, sorry, so... And Nang knows that they're hovering around and lean towards here. They have Herald. They should be able to take this tower with Herald if they want to. Question is, will there be a reaction coming out from the rest of DegreeEsports? For now, he's just playing a little bit safe. But now he has the Thresh backing him up. He can step up.
Looks like there's not actually going to be a Herald used here. Warden was more interested in taking the waves, in taking the camps, sorry. So he's just going to back off momentarily. Still has a fair amount of time left on that Herald, about a third of its usage left, so gonna have to find someone to use it soon. And if it's not top lane, maybe he might use it bot lane.
I mean, to be honest, his tower should just go down with a couple of members coming over and grouping for it. It just seems like they haven't prioritized it, which is weird. Like, to me, the Dragon wasn't prioritized. The bot tower isn't taken just to get out of the map and set up more avenues for you to Herald. Because if you Herald bot lane, you're giving the enemy team time to respond. Because they'll have to charge the first tower, then they'll have to walk up, go towards the next one. A lot more setup has to be done, and you can't get as deep vision easily, so it allows a response from the enemy team. For now, though, Gadonika's got information on them rotating over. He doesn't have a ward, though, potentially.
He's looking to see if he can find a play here in the mid lane. The silence goes down onto Golden God, and that is going to be easy as she does. But a massive ultimate comes out from the Ziggs. Lantern's not going to get quite used, and now Warden looks to chase down Evian. He's got the damage. The knockup's going to go wide from Bear Tree, but they continue to chase here. That's the hook onto Longstaff, as he will fall to a 1-Q from Chimera. They've still got that Rift Herald, so they're probably going to throw it down in the mid lane.
He was really overforced, in honesty, there from Gadonica. Ends up burning everything. They do get the Ezreal, but there's a big cost in return. 2 kills down. We'll get top tower, which is nice. But now Hook comes in great from Raisins.
Hey, are they going to use his Herald? It is timing out soon. Okay, it's got to be here.
He's throwing it down bottom, yeah. I mean, just really solid play. Raisins having the vision down, blocking the Gragas, and as much as they did get Golden God, they weren't able to get more, and they then turned it around. 3 kills to 1. It was 1-1 in... No, it wasn't. It was 2-1 in towers so far in favor of London, and they're going to get this Herald charge off afterwards, so pretty good for them overall. Yeah, they will.
Okay, they do. Whew. I honestly thought they wasted that Herald.
You can't see it once it's like in its charge, and even if you hit the eye, you need like half HP. You can't kill it. It's too tanky. So overall, weird for London. I respect the fact that DegreeEsports still trying to make plays, but that just wasn't the greatest one. Now the important thing here is we're looking at Dragon coming up in less than a minute. This would have been soul for London if they'd prioritized that other Dragon, but they didn't opt.
Oh, they got the Lantern. Raisins jumps in and get himself the ultimate. Golden God is going to get picked off. Taken out. The Cyclone is huge as it trades out 1-for-1 so far. Warden looks to turn it around. Chimera goes golden momentarily as Warden's trying to sustain up and stay alive in the fight. The Unleashed power's there. Chimera's actually been able to hold his life. Ooh. A massive cask will be enough to find the kill though as the flash comes down. In comes Bear Tree though. The tanky one is here. And that was a scrappy team fight. Golden God is just getting consistently sniped out here as Bear Tree has actually found himself a little bit of poke onto Godonica as Bear Tree has nowhere to go. He's going to have to ultimate, but he's going to get caught out. The flash is going to be enough. But actually, he does find himself caught now as Golden God has got teleported in a few seconds' time.
Good confidence play coming out from DegreeEsports. Longstaff willing to go for that one. Despite the fact they're down in gold, and they find it successfully. This Wukong is strong. He makes a big impact. They got the shut down gold from the Syndra. They're able to get the Dragons, secure 2 in their pockets, and that ultimate cooldown reduction is significant. When you look at how much power is in the ultimates of this team, reducing it is really important, especially for the Ziggs now. Blue not stolen by the Olaf, and he actually has to burn the ult to try and get it, so a little bit rough. It feels like Warden sort of came out of the situation unhappy they lost out and was trying to force a bit too hard. Ult's not too long of a cooldown with it being down. Yeah, what is Godonica doing?
Godonica was trying to base in the face of the enemy team, and now they continue to chase them. Golden God with the Iceborne should just be able to slow him for a fair amount of time here. So actually, Godonica turns it around with the ulti, but Golden God finds his first kill of the game.
Yeah, not quite enough. Also, that no magic mantle in Golden God's pocket. Gonna mitigate some of the magic pen that's been picked up by Godonica. Likely the reason he's gone for that. Just a bit of a mistake there from the Gragas being in that position. There was a lantern thrown down earlier that he could have taken to get out, but opted not to. And that's going to cost this bot lane tower that was already weakened. So, bit of a misplay, but overall, it was still... The turn of play was very favorable for DegreeEsports, and it's shown they still have life in this game.
Definitely not going down without a fight here for the side of DegreeEsports, and they are very much in this game still. The gold lead, however, does swing heavily in the favor of London Esports currently. These last two Cloud Dragons being picked up has been a big deny here from the side of Degree. Denying London the ability to get their Cloud Soul, because this should have been their Cloud Soul by now. You felt with the control they had.
They felt like they had it, yeah.
Not willing to go for these as the teleport's coming in for the flank. Chimera may just got himself caught out. Cask is going to get thrown. Chimera goes golden. Wasting the stopwatch, but he will fall. Meanwhile, they answer out with a kill onto the Ziggs. 1-for-1. And they've got the wave and the advantage here in the mid lane to push forward.
Well, they don't actually have the wave. That's one of the powers of the Ziggs. So they'll clear the enemy wave out, but they won't get more.
They're chasing everything down. They get the Cyclone into the last breath. That's the end of the Ezreal. Taken out easy as. Warden is just running for everyone on the backline, though. He will get shut down in the turnaround as Bear Tree looks for the smash. Finds it onto one. But Double Blade the Ruined Kings means his health bar is just so easy to take down. Down goes Bear Tree. Gets hooked as well in zombie form, so they can't chase him anymore.
Oh, Ignite. Stopwatch might be enough.
Oh!
Not quite to save him. It was a good effort. Jungler down. It's going to be 20 seconds off the respawn of Warden. They could try for a Baron rush here. It's risky, especially against the Ziggs, but this game is starting to feel a little bit out of control for London. And I can only blame them. They really just dropped the ball on this one because they could have set up for the Dragons. They could have had Soul by now. Elder could be on the card soon, and that could be their win condition. But instead, they let those go. They've given 2 Dragons over the other side, and now they're opting into these team fights. And we talked about this in the draft. This composition that DegreeEsports has team fights so well and so easily, it's really looking a little bit dicey right now for the side of London.
And the crazy thing is I said at the beginning of the game, I was like, Ezreal's the one who's consistently able to escape the Zigzag. He's the one who's consistently getting killed by the Zigzag. Golden God is having a really rough showing here on this Ezreal.
As well. The Wukong as well. He jumped right into the ultimate from the Wukong there and just got churned up and Yasuo ulted. And
yeah, I think that's the key thing is Golden God's usage of his E is really not very optimal. He's very hyper aggressive with it. And that has been what's consistently costing him his life.
Yeah,
he eases in aggressively and then has no escape tool from the CC, from the burst damage available to Degree.
All he needs to sit back and play it safe, and ultimately hasn't so far. And as this game goes on, it's just going to get more and more difficult. We saw the shutdown from Warden handed over to the Gragas. He's now got a death on the board. But as the game gets later, this Olaf is going to become so much less significant. And that's where things get really concerning for the side of London. And if you lose this game, comes down to an all or nothing one game, and they've already lost one of those today, so not a good position to be in considering how well this early game was going.
They're heading over, wanting to set up for the Cloud Soul. Teleport's coming out from the side of Golden God to go join his team. Warden dodges away on the hook, luckily, but a bouncing bomb will clip him. Do a little bit of damage. There's the Leandries and a Oblivion Orb on to Ben. So he's pretty solid right now, pretty strong as far as it goes. Cloud Dragon spawning up.
Winner of this fight could well go to Baron if they have the numbers. So fight could be dictated here. And execution's going to be the key thing. Keep an eye on the big ultimates.
They're consistently taking that damage. Warden's just trying to lifesteal up a little bit with the Olaf. The hook goes wide by Raisins, and now kind of down a member for the moment while that hook's off. Going to get that cask out early. Do get a 2-man scatter the weak into the True Shot Barrage, but a great wall will block them out for the moment. The Cyclone onto that backline. Golden God this time is playing at arm's length, but he does get knocked up momentarily. He's able to blink away this time, though, and finds himself a kill. Now he's looking for Chen. Chen gets the slow, gets chased onto, and Bear Tree flashes forward, goes pop with the blood bubble, as now Ben has to be so careful. Raisins looking for the hook. He's able to find it into the smash, into the axe. Warden finds the kill, and that was the crucial difference. Massive team fight. Golden God played so safe that fight, and he carried it so hard.
And they put everything into Chimera, but the fight ended up getting split. They couldn't find access onto him. Gadunica wasted his ultimate. Evan and Chentang has to dive so deep for Chimera that Golden God could pick them apart when they had no cooldowns available. They win the fight. They don't care about the dragon. They're going straight for this Baron, and this should be theirs to take unless Longstaff can make a miracle steal. It looks like he's not even going for it. They're going for the dragon instead. Huge win for London, and they're getting back the control of this game.
They may even be able to get back to the dragon in time. They spent some gold. You can see Golden God actually picked up a Death Stance before that fight. That's why he teleported to the mid lane. And that Death Stance could have been really crucial for him to surviving Gadunica and Evan. But looks like they may just have to give up the Cloud Dragon. I don't think it's a massive loss after getting that big old team fight.
Like I said, if this was a different Soul, different story. But Cloud Soul, it's nice, but it's not drastically going to change the dynamic of the game.
Spotted out there with the axe. They do go for the last breath onto Raisins. The wind wall's fairly large as they get the decimating smash off. Chimera just annihilates Chentang there. The bomb goes wide. Chimera finds a double kill as they continue the chase forward. Golden God looking for the damage onto Ben, but he's unable to find it. The box will slow and deny anyone else an entrance in. Just a massive team fight as Golden God does look for Longstaff here over the wall, but has to be a little careful. They got the teleport flank coming down. They've got the ability to find something as Golden God actually goes in forward, takes a lot of CC, does have that Death Stance to heal up momentarily. As the Lantern gets placed, it's too little, it's too late. It's another team fight victory over to the side of London Esports.
And someone needs to tell Chentang that he doesn't need to press R on Yasuo. It's a Blitzcrank. You put everything into him, he still survives, and then you get one shot. Just really poor decision making for this team. And they're going to take 2 inhibitors here. really not a good spot to be in, considering you turn the momentum around.
That's 2 inhibs down, and it looks like they are just going to back off for now.
They're waiting for someone to step out of the base, because if someone dies here, someone significant, London can just end. We're going to apply that pressure to the top side.
I believe Chimera's actually put up the... he's got a sorcery pot on, so he's doing extra damage to these towers as well.
Goodbye when you know the game's ending soon, or at least it should do if it goes in your favor. This is the last team fight chance for DegreeEsports, the last chance in the closed qualifier to make it to the UKLC.
Oh, they get the cast. They don't get the damage off. That's going to be the ultimate, but in goes the charge. They find something onto Chimera, but Chimera goes Golden to dodge away on so much of the work. Golden God on that flank is trying to cut them down. They got themselves 1 kill on the Yasuo already, but in comes Warden. He's looking to mop up the fight. Golden God has been untouched the entire time as Beartree finds a double kill. Golden God finds a double kill, and Warden mops up the last one. It's the full ace for the side of London. 31 minutes on the clock. They're looking for the turrets. They're looking for the Nexus. They are not done with these qualifications yet. London will be going through to tomorrow's games.
And Golden God lives up to his namesake. He was a little rough in the early stages, but he comes in with the clutch team fighting. They're going to let the minions do it for them. They know what they've done. They've gotten through. It looked like it could have been rough in this game. They had the scaling disadvantage, but they brought it back. And they'll make it onto day 2 of the closed qualifiers.
Fantastic game there by London. Looks like that loss to Viperio was a blip on the radar for the side of London Esports. They played fantastically well, and they were able to pull that out. That game was a little bit dodgier, and we did express that we were like, okay, Golden God is really aggressive as he stopped doing that pretty much as soon as we said it, and then you saw the difference in the team fights. He wasn't getting blown up instantly by the Yasuo Gragas combo. He was able to keep everyone away from him and just consistently poke them down. And because of the Death's Dance pickup, every time someone jumped on him, he had that little bit extra sustain available to him to survive the initial burst. And Golden God really turned that game around for himself, because I felt like prior to that, it felt a little worrying. All of those fights were getting lost because they just would find the pick onto the Ezreal instantly.
Yeah, and I think the big thing was that in the later fights, they were engaging well onto the Syndra. But the whole reason they went for the Ezreal in the 3rd rotation before it gets banned away is so they had a safe carry who could avoid those engages. And when finally he was playing like that, it started to come together. That last fight was looking favorable towards DegreeEsports, but there just wasn't enough momentum to carry through. The Wukong had no cooldown, so Yasuo ends up getting taken down, and then Golden God steps in and just cleans it up with Warden. Wasn't the cleanest game, but I think that's going to be inevitable as we get to the later stage of this tournament. It's competitive, it's close, you're not going to get a flawless match off, but they managed to deliver. And despite the hiccup early in the day where they lost out of the winners match, they do manage to bring it round.
Yeah, they definitely do. Now, let's have a little look at our standings for Group A. I believe we have that. So you can see how everything has played out so far here in the UKLC qualifiers. One thing to note is we obviously have our Group B decider going on at the same time at the moment. So we haven't got exactly decided on who is playing Viperio later in tomorrow's games. But for now, London have managed to make it through and got themselves up against Resolve in our semi-finals tomorrow. And then Viperio will be taking on either Bulldog or Wolves. Bulldog are 1 up at the moment in that game. So that's over on the B stream going on right now. But
yeah,
overall, pretty exciting stuff.
Twitch.tv/UKEL if you want to catch the other game, which is the culmination of a decider match in Group B. Bulldogs up against Wolves, 1-0, and game pretty in favor of Bulldogs, but you should be able to catch more of it if you tune in. But yeah, so there will be more games tomorrow. That will be all on this channel, and we'll have 2 deciding matches to dictate, are you in the UKLC or not?
Yeah, I mean, there's still 2 spots to go. We still got currently 5 teams in the runnings for it, but there you go. You can see tomorrow's schedule. We have Resolve versus London as our 2nd series, and we'll be starting out at 1 o'clock British summer time with Viperio versus the winner of Bulldogs or Wolves. And if you missed any of the games over on the B stream, or you've only just joined us here on the A stream, you can actually head back and watch all the VODs over on the Twitch channel. I'm not sure if they're going up on YouTube or not. I can't tell you, but you can catch it all on Twitch and just catch up on all the games you've missed so far. But tomorrow, all of the games will be taking place here on the Twitch DreamHack LOL channel. So you'll be able to see all of our best of threes going on tomorrow and finding out who are our last teams qualifying for the UK League Championship, which will be starting up this coming Sunday, not tomorrow, a week on Sunday.
Starting at 1 p.m. BST, and then the second best of 3 will be estimated to be 4 p.m. BST, but obviously things can change depending on how fast the first one is and other schedule arrangements. So worth checking in if you're focused on getting a second one, or if you're here for the whole thing, then obviously you'll be able to see.
You come for this crazy ride with us. Thank you very much for watching today, guys, here on the DreamHack LOL channel. We'll be back tomorrow with the finals for our qualifiers. So we'll catch you at 1 o'clock. Until then, see you later.